So if y'all saw Trash Taste downfall, you know what I'm saying, when I reacted to basically how Trash Taste has just been falling down and they've really, haven't been living up to what they, fans maybe wanted them to be or what they were before. The AOT podcast, it wasn't hidden. People didn't like it. There was a lot of backlash. You know what I'm saying? People were very disappointed in Trash Taste for what they did with the AOT podcast. And I see it, from people not being even prepared to talk about it, like Joey, to just not even caring besides Giga, you know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting to say the least. Connor actually responded to some of the backlash, so I'm curious to see his actual thoughts on it. So we're going to react to that right now and see what he has to say. See what Connor got to say.
Bro, the sub has been on fire for the past 2 episodes.
Hey, dude, just trying to spice up Trash Taste, I said...
The sub has been up, so I guess that means like the shit, basically. Yeah. So basically, the last 2 episodes are interesting. But what was the previous episode before this? Let me actually check out of curiosity. What was their previous episode before the attack on Titan? Because we know that they went through it on the AOT one, even just from looking at the comments. Like, they were getting cooked mercilessly in the comments, to say the least. Okay. And the one before that was these YouTubers are destroying Japan. Well, yeah, I can see how that would be controversial as well, probably. So it makes sense. Makes sense. All right, let's see what's up.
On Trash Taste recently, said that I kind of lost interest in Attack on Titan towards the end, and that I didn't really like season 4.
Is this what Connor's gonna cover in this? It's just about how he wasn't interested. Interesting. I mean, that's fine too. That's still. But I wonder if like the preparedness of the podcast, like the caring, if he's gonna actually talk about that or not.
Much people got upset. I think most of it was just I've grown out of it. Like I think a year ago or 2 years ago I was super pumped about it. We even watched it on stream and I had a lot of fun, but I don't know why. I think I just fell out of it and I think I just lost interest in the story. POV people change. It does happen, but they are ravenous, the fans right now.
It does suck though, because I guess like as a podcast, if you build a reputation or if you're like, oh well, we're gonna cover this a certain way, and then you don't, and then the fans are just disappointed, you can't like. I feel like people are very unaccepting of like change in that matter when they expect you to create content a certain way and then you fall through on that. It's difficult, man, because I get it. People do change. Like, I don't want to talk about the same stuff on the floor I want to talk about probably a year ago or 2 years ago, generally. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, make the same jokes. I don't want to, and granted, I think the problem is AOT has spanned for so many years that it's easy for someone's opinion to change. So I understand that. I truly do understand that.
That's fair enough. I can't take that away from them. I wish I shared the same hype for it that I did. My live reaction to the episode. Yeah, like I think back then I was super into it. Ooh, okay.
Yo, this is sick.
This episode is so fucking good, dude. My God.
No, yeah,
what the fuck, dude? That last episode was nuts, dude. That was an action.
But look, this is like a year ago, so like it's understandable.
Episode that was like non-stop. I think I was excited to see where it went, and then I was like, all right, now I gotta wait 2 years, find out what the little girl thinks.
It's tough.
Why the king wronged her.
The hype died for some people, but overall it was still a good anime.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a bad anime. I think I just said I lost interest, and I think that.
But still, it's kind of crazy to say for Attack on Titan.
I'm also terrible at recollecting what I've said. So I have like feelings, but maybe I say things that are slightly different, which is not helpful to me. You said some of the most important parts were the most boring. Yeah, I did feel that way. I don't know why. When I started like yapping away on like this whole bloodline, Yime bull.
Someone in his chat said AOT is just mid. That's crazy. I don't think it's here no more, but that's some hater shit right there. Literally. Is it here? Yeah, AOT is just mid right there. That's crazy. Hold on, wait. Where's my AOT just mid right there? That's crazy. That's crazy hate, bro. That reminds me of certain individuals. Mori, Ace, etc.
Yapping away on like this whole bloodline Yime bullshit. I was like, what the fuck is this? You ordered
like again, it's fine. I mean, at least Connor was prepared to talk about it. I do think the fact that he wasn't like Connor wasn't like Connor wasn't like upset, or he like there wasn't a passion coming from Connor in terms of disliking the ending. It was just like so mad that that came across clearly in the parts that I watched of the episode, because like, you know, that's hard. That's hard for people, I think, to really get with, because it just seems like you just don't care in general about like the podcast or about like what you're trying to talk about, which generally on a podcast you're supposed to care what you're talking about.
Putting time travel in, and now you want me to care about this little girl who spent too much time at Hot Topic? What? I was just like, get on with it. That's fair, not. I don't know if it's fair or not. I mean, it might not be fair.
That was a bit unfair, but in general, I understand. I understand Connor's points. I do.
That's just how I felt. Whether it's a good take is very much not the case. I definitely think there was a time where Attack on Titan was my most enjoyed and hyped show. And I think after time, I just stopped caring. Maybe I just grew up and kind of my taste changed. I don't really know. Listen, chat, at the end of the day, if I don't like the thing that you like, that's okay. And if I do, then great, we can hang out. If not, I'll see you in the ring of battle. No, Connor. How do I form a parasocial relationship if you don't have the exact same opinion as me? Before that, we recorded that episode. I saw some people getting annoyed as well. They were like, why would Joey not watch it if they're going to dedicate a whole episode to it? It was literally 2 minutes before we started recording. Grant goes, you guys watched Attack on Titan? I said, yeah, I did. I kind of was bored with it. And he was like, all right, we're talking about it then. So that's how that ended.
Okay, if that truly is what happened, that is crazy. 2 minutes before the podcast, like, yeah, let's just talk about this on the podcast. One of your co-hosts ain't even prepared whatsoever. I don't know. I don't know. I guess that makes it better for Joey, but like, still, like, why wouldn't they have considered in advance, we're gonna cover AOT when it comes out? Why would that not come to your mind? Even for Joey, like, he could have still watched it. I just, but for Giga's purposes here, right? Like the fact that he just was like, you know what, like, fuck it, let's just cover it, even though he know one of the co-hosts hasn't seen it even, is kind of crazy. So I guess I take some of the blame away from Joey, but at the same time, it's like, I still could have watched it, I guess, but I don't know. It makes it more of a difficult situation at that point, because you know, he didn't know, but that's tough though. It still seems, it's very unprepared from a whole podcast perspective at that point. It's not just Joey, it's the whole podcast, because they have a whole team, right? Like, why wouldn't this have been more planned in advance? Granted, shit happens. If you know, I think like we've even had times on the flow like, okay, let's just talk about this, and then we just do it. So I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, but yeah,
ended up happening. It's not me defending Joey, but some people were speculating that we decided it was going to be an Attack on Titan episode and that Joey should have done his homework and watched it, but that's not how it happened. I hate being on defending Joey duty all the time. That one, it's actually kind of justified, because we all know the anime man doesn't watch anime. So come on, guys. I remember when we were doing the episode, God was like, am I crazy? Am I the only one who really is hyped about this? Joey is talking more about it.
Shock, your two co-hosts who haven't cared about anime aren't hyped about it. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to defend them necessarily, but like, I think what happened here is just a case of Giga being so hype about AOT. He's like, I really want to talk about this on my podcast. The other two being like, you really want to talk about it, so let's just talk. Why not? We can do it. And then he just has to carry it because they don't really care, but they're just willing to talk about it because he does. But again, they could have done a better job of carrying, because you can, you know, put more into it than what I think they did, regardless.
Not watching anime than watching anime. That's actually true, I think. I felt betrayed. Listen, we try to get conversation going. Gom seemed more excited when I said that opinion off camera than when I said I'd watched the show. Like, did you watch it? I was like, yeah. He goes, and I go, oh yeah, I didn't really like it. I wasn't like super into it there. And he goes, what? I was like, yeah, I kind of lost vibes with it in the season.
That was like a perfect interpretation. Hold on. That was so perfect. That's like exactly how he would, like, exactly how I would think he would have sounded.
We're into it there. And he goes, what? I was like, yeah, I kind of lost.
So accurate. What? What? How was he able to? Oh man, that's good. That's good. I mean, he's a voice actor, I guess, right? So
vibes with it in the season prior, and he goes, "What? All right, we're talking about it."
Constantly throwing in new genres.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But it's tough, bro. Because I don't think they can just not be at fault. Because I feel like they put out a bad piece of content. Like, objectively speaking, right? But this is the disappointment. Like, there was no one, I don't think there was like anyone who watched. I didn't see one comment that liked the podcast they put out, right? I mean, maybe the people just didn't feel they need to comment, but that's kind of tough.
Genre changing elements without explanation, and then going on and on about things that didn't matter.
I think Attack on Titan did explain, but I think it explained it in a way where I would need then someone on YouTube to sit me down in chronological order with fun graphics to explain to me what happened for me to ever really
Hey, that's game right there. Someone can make that video.
Catch it. I'd love to sit here and tell you that I can analyze every piece of media perfectly and pick up on every single plot point. But
Hey, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Connor, but me personally, me personally, I don't know. I think I can analyze damn near every piece of media. You feel me? I think I got that in my locker. It's in the bag. It's in the duffy. You feel me? And things of that nature. If you know what I'm saying.
I'm really bad at that, especially when the plots are kind of convoluted. I'm really bad remembering every single detail in order and how they all interact with each other. Sometimes that just leads to me having a worse experience of a show where someone else might watch it and just think, I understand everything completely. And also, it's been 10 years.
That is another thing. AOT stand for so freaking long that, you know, it does make sense to a certain extent. Is YouTube trying to predict how long my stream is going to be? It says 137 out of 234. Am I going to stream between? If I stream for the exactly that amount of time, if I actually do, YouTube's insane. But I think you know, not to drag on the Trash Taste thing anymore, because you know, after seeing that, I don't necessarily think there's much of a reason to talk about it too much. Am I still gonna put out that video? Yeah, because I think it still applies to a degree. But I'm also gonna put out this one. You know what I'm saying? So, do I just put them together? Potentially, that could be the move. Because I do think that what Connor said does give good context to why it happened. I'm glad that Connor did discuss it. Should more people see that? Probably. Well, they probably talk about in the next episode of the podcast, probably. But there'll probably be some fans that don't even tune back in. By the end of the day, you are responsible for the content you put out. Regardless of anything, you're responsible for the content you put out. No one liked the content that I saw. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, that I saw. And I personally did not think it was very. I did not think it was good. Like, you can see one man was hyped. One man watched it, didn't care. One dude didn't watch it, didn't care. How is that going to lead to good conversation? It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And as a podcast, it is your responsibility to know that in advance. You know, and if you put out bad content, you put out bad content. You're not a bad person, but it's still your responsibility to understand what content you're putting out and to put out good content if that is what you're trying to do. And if it is your job, if it is your profession, you kind of need to be doing that, or you got to make a living. Luckily for Trash Taste, because I don't want to ever see anyone lose a bag. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they're still not bad people, I don't want to see them lose a bag. Luckily for them, to have a good enough fan base that cares about them enough that they're not going to lose their fan base over this, right? But if it was someone like The Flow put out an ass piece of content like this, again, I think we have a certain loyal fan base. But like, let's say we started growing and these people really hadn't seen too many podcasts. We put out an ass piece of content. They're not tuning back in. Simple as that. Simple as that. They're not tuning back in. Hell no, they're not tuning back in. You know what I'm saying? They will not be tuning back in. It just will not happen. They literally won't. And that's literally a fact. So, you know, I think the criticisms are still very applied, but the fact of the matter is, apparently, you know, it isn't all blame on Joey, but I think a lot of it is. But at the same time, from what I got from Cardiac, from what I got from Maury, from what I got from their comments, from my chat, it definitely seems like they haven't cared in a minute. So one can only infer based on them not caring in a minute that this is the track record and this was the boiling point. You know, because at the very least, maybe they were having better conversations and they cared more about the conversation. Granted, maybe they didn't care about the pod, whatever, but maybe they were more prepared for the conversations. You know what I'm saying? So, again, the boiling point, maybe they'll take it as a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this will be the thing that kicks them into gear. Like, okay, we got to make better content again. We have to make better podcasts. I hope it does. I don't really want to see people's downfalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, if there's a downfall going on, I might be toxic here and there. Like I was in the last pod I think I had. But generally, I felt a lot of the ways I felt because it low-key made me mad. It's because I have a podcast and we're not big. And this is one of the biggest podcasts in the world. So seeing that, it made me upset. It truly did make me upset. But again, there is context with everything. Now, you know, I guess it's up to you whether or not you think that's going to be the deal breaker for you or whether it's not. I think most people probably say it's not. I mean, if they put out something that I want to watch, I'll probably tune in. Like I'm not against it, but again, I think the context was necessary because I think that they looked a lot worse. Like I think they probably should have prefaced that in the pod, let people know the situation because it looked a lot worse than it probably needed to look just because they didn't add the context to the thing in the pod. Not saying you always have to add context, but if you don't add context, people won't take it whatever way they're going to take it. And we saw how they took it. So that's that. I guess at the end of the day, the lesson take from this, you know, be intentional what type of content you put out. You know, put out the best content you can put out. Try to satisfy your fans to the best of your ability. Be prepared, you know, and you can, at that point, you only, you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, you know, if you put out something like this, and let's say Trash Taste does fall off now, they can only blame themselves. Truly, right? You know, so it is what it is. It is what it is. I think a lot of the sentiments that I made in the previous reactions still are there, but the context does add a good amount. And I think that it looked worse than it was, you know? So that's that. That's another Trash Taste, man. I guess if the others talk about it, maybe we'll react to it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I am very curious because I think it is a very interesting topic because it goes into all types of content creation, not even just podcasting.